out to go around your leg. So one there. One there. Then I went in with a fret saw and just got close. Like that. The other one, same thing. And you're going to cut to your scribe line that denotes the width of your stretchers. Cut these out. Usually I wax my coping saw blades. Just run them through a piece of paraffin. So just check the chisel. It looks pretty straight. So then this one's extra giant, so it's whoops. What goes wrong? Yeah, duh. It's always nice to have 20 people keeping an eye on what you're doing. So then this will sit up under here, and I've got those pieces are over here all assembled, but so this, right? And so you do that with each one separately. And once you do that, when you put this on here, you want to take a scribe, you want to make sure it's centered, so you've got a scribe line on there, so you've got equal wood on either side, and then you mark the location of the other stretcher that's crossing it there. And you do that on both of them. That way you know how to orient them when they meet, right? And so the joint that happens here, I'm just going to do one of these. The joint that happens here, and so this guy is going to cross, and this should be 60 degrees also, obviously. So I am going to, what you want to do is you'll take this piece, and our other piece is also going to have our piece denoted there. And so these guys are going to cross each other. And so I think now I'm going to start using a knife because I'm going to start doing joinery. So they're going to cross.
What did you just mark? Is that 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 on that?
This is what's marked on here is the center line of the stretchers.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be stuck up underneath onto the stretchers.
Yeah.
And so you orient this so it corresponds to the, when you mark each one against its opposing stretcher, you know where these cross, all right? I'm not going to, actually I'm going to get rid of these pencil lines because they're going to mess me up. But a center stretcher line in theory here.
But in practice, you would take the stretchers out and mark them, or you mark this directly on the put together table?
I mark them out. I know that this is 5/16 in the middle.
Yep.
And I know this is a quarter on either side.
Okay.
So I set this for a quarter.
Oh, okay.
The quarter is the part that's going to get carved. Yeah, the quarter is going to get carved. So this one's going to cross here. And this one underneath it is going to cross there. What I did was I took a little C-clamp. When I got these oriented correctly at the location, I put a little C-clamp in the middle to hold them, so that when I did that marking, it would come out right. All right. So I've got, these guys are going to go there. And there. There's a question actually as to whether Townsend did these actually lapped, or whether it was actually 3 pieces, 1 piece and then a piece added and a piece added. If you look at the photograph of the underneath of the winter tour table, one of the pieces has come up. It's a little loose. So I don't know whether that broke or whether it's actually made in 3 separate pieces. It was impossible for me to tell. I suspect maybe it was broken because knowing Townsend, he probably did it the hard way. Or the, theoretically best way, which sometimes turns out also to be the hard way. So this piece crosses here, and I forgot to mark A and B, but I think it goes this way. So let me mark X, X, so they're facing the same way. Then I have to transfer these marks around this guy also. So this center dimension on here also, so that I get the sort of diamond in the middle, and that's going to be the half lap. I'll show you in a second. Hold on. Marking knife. Essentially, I'm going to have to draw them so you can see here. And this is, why don't I pass that around while I'm doing this so you can see what it is. This guy crosses, and where the stretcher crosses in the middle, too, both of them. So what's going to happen is I'm going to miter this to this corner, this to this corner, that to that one, and that to that one. So whichever one passes through is going to miter into it, get narrow, miter again, and go out again. So the only part that's going to lap is that center diamond. The rest of it's going to be cut out so that all the miters can work. So in this case, I'm going to take this. This will fit in so you can see the angle or not. And make a mortise. This isn't supposed to go in here yet, but that's not perpendicular to your chamfer. So here's our chamfer. It's 45 degrees, 5/16. However, our stretcher is actually coming in about 30 degrees off of that line. And so we have to figure a way to put it in the mortising machine essentially tipped at 30 degrees. And so what I did was I took 2 blocks of wood and I set my saw blade for 45 and I cut out the spot for the leg, right? And then I cut the sides of these at 30, so it tipped it, and I cut the bottom across so it would sit flat in my mortising machine. So now I can set this in my mortising machine, clamp it up, and mortise in, and it'll automatically cut it at the proper angle, right? It's pretty simple. So you're just figuring out a way to tip this thing 30 degrees out of plumb, essentially, right? And so once you figure that out, it's a question of just marking out, doing the layout of your stretcher to figure out where you're going to actually do the cut. And what I did to do that was